and suppose my array is b. B is equal to np dot array within bracket a. Okay. Now this b would be an array. If you want to access some specific range, you can access like this also, similar to what we have already studied, right? So this is what we have already seen yesterday. You can have few more commands like to check shape. You can reshape the data as well. B dot size, b dot ndim. This is also a command for checking out how many dimensional data is available. So this is your one dimensional data only. If any array is available, with one single value, that will be having 0 dimension of data. Okay. If you have couple of values available in one single row itself, you would have one directional data only. Okay. Shall we go ahead now? PIP3, yeah, somebody is asking about PIP3. So,
Yes, please.
So PIP3, why we are using 3? 3 for Python 3. If we'll use PIP only, PIP is basically for Python 2. So earlier we were using PIP command for Python 2 and PIP3 for Python 3. Now PIP2 is quietly in less of use, because the updation or updation in the required version next after some time for all the libraries will not be coming more from Python itself, and they have announced this thing that they'll not be updating this Python 2 anymore in future. So that's the reason everybody is shifted towards Python 3. Okay. So let's go ahead, and I told you about one more command, that is np dot a range. I told you about reshaping. I told you about accessing. This is how we can access. You can access last value also, and you can multiply. You can do some multiplication, or you can do some operations, right? You can check the shape, size, and ndim also. You can replace the data as well. If you want to replace this data, suppose you are interested in removing this data, or you are interested in to replace this data also. So what you can do, b of 0. As of now, b of 0 would be 1 only, because we have multiplied this information, but we did not saved the multiplication in any variable basically. So what we can do first, b is equal to b into 10. So now this data after the operation will be stored in b. Okay. So if we'll check b, now we will be this. Now we want to check, or sorry, we want to change this data, and this is called as manipulation. We are manipulating our data according to our requirement. So what we can do, b of 0 can be replaced with any other value. Okay, and b will be changed. We will be changed permanently, and this is called as mutation. So yesterday we have seen the difference between mutation, mutable data and immutable data, right? So tuple was immutable, and list was mutable, and array is also mutable. Understood? Shall we go ahead now? And I told you about 2D, 3D array as well. So if you have multiple brackets over here, so you'll be considering those arrays as 2D, 3D, 4D, depending upon number of brackets you have. Okay. So this is called as the study of array, and it helps us to manipulate and operate couple of operations in array. Okay. So now let me go ahead with the next topic, and that to visualize this information that we have available in arrays. Suppose I have a vector. Why I'm calling this as a vector? Because I have information for one dimension only. Okay. So I got a variable called x, np dot array within bracket. You can directly put values over here as well. Suppose 3, 5, 7, 13. These are the four values that we have available in x direction. I have got y direction data also, np dot array within bracket. You can put this bracket for list. You can change this bracket for tuple also. Tuple list can be converted to arrays, no issues. So initial data should be available in heterogeneous collection first, and that heterogeneous collection could be either in list or tuple. Okay, so suppose this is your list. Now I have put it 4, 2, 7, 26. These are the two vectors that we have initialized with some of the values. So x can be considered as x direction, y can be considered as y directional data. Okay, so if we'll make the coordinate between x versus y, so what will happen? 3 versus 4, 5 versus 2, 7 versus 7, 13 versus 26. This is the coordinate system that we have got. So if we'll plot these values 3 versus 4, 5 versus 2, so let us see how we'll get it. So this is what we have got, the visualization suppose. So this is your y. Now the value of x would be 3, 5, 7, 13. 3, 1, suppose this is your 3, 3, 5, 7, 13. 5, 7 and 13. This is your calculation. This is your 0. This is your 13. Okay. Now we have got 4, 2, 7, 26. We have 4 here. Initially we had 3. Okay, so this is your 3, and we have 4. We have 2. Then we have 7. 7 is on 7, and then we have got 26. On 13 we have 26. We can have this thing. So now let me draw it somewhere on the top. Okay, now the visualization that we want is in this form. There should be a line drawn in between these points, and I want to draw this point as well, and I want to draw this line as well. This line can be available in different forms. It can be a continuous line, it can be a dotted line, it can have red color, it can have black color, it can have green color. You can, if you want to write some text also here, suppose this is your important text, you want to write, you want to highlight this coordinate also. So what you can do, suppose you want to write here 7 comma 7. This is the text that you want to write. Here there will be labels. You want to write here y axis, you want to write here x axis. Okay, you want to give the name of this particular visualization also, and this is the window that you have available, and the name of the window is x versus y. Okay, x versus y graph, time versus humidity graph, temperature versus humidity graph, temperature versus resistance graph, temperature versus current graph. There could be different parameters, many parameters, and between all those parameters we can have visualization of data as well. Okay, so this is what I have taken a small example where you have got two vectors. I am saying vector with respect to data that you have put it basically in one direction only. Okay, so let me first of all tell you that the requirement for visualization would be matplotlib library. Okay, so matplotlib library that you can install using pip once again. So pip3 install matplotlib. Okay, so if you'll enter it, I hope I have that library already. Yeah, so requirement already satisfied means I have this library package which has a version of 2.1.2 available already in this particular folder. Okay, in this particular folder that I have already available. Okay, see side packages, like I told you, inside this side packages the requirement is already satisfied, right? So to check whether this library package is installed properly or not, whether it's working or not, so what we can do, get back to your software and try to import that matplotlib. Okay, so if it will be imported, if you're not getting any error, this means your function is working properly, your function or your library is installed properly. Okay, so now inside matplotlib we want to plot 2D graph only. We want to plot 2D graph only where line is there and we have dotted plots are also there. Okay, so for that purpose inside matplotlib we have a class called pyplot. So matplotlib can be called as library module. Matplotlib can be called as library module, under which we have got one particular class named as pyplot, under which we have got couple of functions which are available to design 2D or 2D graph of line or dotted sections. Okay, so for that purpose we'll be using from matplotlib.pyplot. In one single line only we can import that subclass also. So this was your library module, under which we have got class of plotting 2D data, right, pyplot, and then we have got from this import plt, not import, okay, from that or import lib.pyplot as plt, right. So from this particular package we have imported, from this package we have imported this class, and we have given the name of we have given a particular name of the object, and that name would be plt. So this plt would be treated as one of the object name, okay, and that will represent to this particular class, not for the whole class or whole module of this matplotlib, okay. So now we can use plt command to check how many functions or commands are available with this object. So annotation, arrow, artist, auto locator, access button, number of things are available, okay. Now we want to plot something. So there is a command called plot, plt.plot, within bracket we need to put that data, and data was x and versus y. Plt.plot, we had this data called x versus y, x comma y. So let us enter it first. So this line of code will generate a 2D object of this ID. The ID of this object would be this particular thing, and it will be a family part of matplotlib, okay. Now if after this command, after writing this command, if you will put plt dot show command, it will show you the data, nothing you have to put inside this. These two commands must be coming simultaneously to each other, okay. First of all, try to plot the data, it will be plotting your data, but it will not be popped up in different windows, okay. If you want to pop up a different window of visualizing this data, then you can use plt.show, enter it. So this window will be popped up, under which we have got this particular visualization. Is that okay, everyone? Don't try to update using pip please, right? Python -m pip install --upgrade pip. This, please don't use this command. If you are getting this command to upgrade your version, if you have upgraded, I'm sure you're gonna you're gonna find out some difficulties or issues installing other library also. Please don't do it. Don't downgrade also. If you are uninstalling a software, please do me a favor, that uninstall that complete folder also of Python, wherever that Python folder has created while during installation of your software previously, okay, and then please try to reinstall it. Don't reinstall it upon the same dependency that we have already installed the software before, okay. Shall I go ahead now? Should I go ahead now?
Yes, please go ahead. Yes, sir.
Just a second, please. Yeah, so plt.show. Now, okay, let me use it once again. Sorry, this thing and then show. So here you can notice the color of the line is blue. However, we did not give any color of the code. We want to display the value of this label in x-axis and y-axis. We want to give the label of this graph. We want to give the color of this graph. We want to notify something here on this coordinate also. What was the value over on this coordinate? What was the value of of this coordinate? Similarly for other coordinate also, how many coordinates are available, and if you want to display something somewhere in the window, that also we can do. Okay, so let me take you to the program separately first now. So we'll try to visualize some good amount of data. Okay, that data could be random, that data could be random, or see, let me tell you one more command. We have np, right? Np dot random. Okay, np dot random dot random. So it gives you one single data itself. If you type here 10, it gives you 10 values. Okay, so what if I'll just run this command and put all the datas in one of the variable. Suppose I've got x is equal to np dot random within bracket, sorry, random dot random. Okay, I have put it 10 values over here. Every time whenever I'll be entering this command, I'll be getting all the values differently. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just enter or multiply 100 over here to every single value, and you can convert them into int, or else instead of doing it, you can change this random to rand int also, rand int. So in between, if you'll write here rand int, if you'll write here 100, it means till 100 only numeric digits in integer digits will be coming as your random digits as an answer here. Like every value is different, every value is different from each other, isn't it? So likewise all the values here will be different till this 100 only. So everything will be in, so one value is coming like 86, so one single value will be coming. So what we can do, we can get one single value at a time in between 0 to 100. Suppose I want to write like np dot random dot rand int, and I'll put 0 comma, okay, I want to start from 5, and between 5 to 10 only I want to generate some number. Okay, so it has come 8. Always it will be different. So you can put a range also. If you are not putting a range, it will start from 0. So from 0 till 100, any particular number can be chosen. Like here it was 86. Similarly, if I'll put here the third variable, if I'll put suppose 2. So in between 5 to 10, with a difference of 2, means 5, either 5, 7, 9, between these three value, anything can be chosen. Okay. See, here we've got 7 and 9. We have got two values in between these two numbers. Okay. In between these two values, we have got two different values. So now what we can do here, we can write 10 here to get 10 different values. Okay. If I'll just change this value to 100, we'll get any number here. Okay. So I can use this command for one of the x's, like x, so that every time whenever I'm running the program, we'll get different visualization of a data. Okay, we need not to put those values again and again randomly. So this random function gives us quite good results, or helps us to generate n amount of data that we are required to just put up new calculations for the algorithm. Okay, so x is equal to np dot random dot randint within bracket 5:100. 100 comma 10. So we got x. Similarly, we'll be getting y also. So now this y will be different. This y is different. I did not do anything, and I have got two different values.